9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a fantastic morning so far. My gosh, this week is flying by. It's Tuesday already. Does that mean it's flying by? Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It was just yesterday that you were playing the Bills song to me incessantly. Yeah.
Oh, do I need to do it again?
No.
What?
No.
You brought it up.
Dang it.
We'll get to that later. Hope you're having a fantastic day. You know, it's crazy to me. We're a week away from AmFest with Turning Point USA. That's I'm going to be flying out Thursday night, going to America Fest, and then we're just going to be doing the show out there live Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. I'm so excited about this. Have you seen the final lineup for AmFest?
Dude, it looks awesome.
Dude, it's going to be nuts. I mean, it's going to be Charlie Kirk, obviously, Tucker Carlson, Roseanne Barr, Rob Schneider, Glenn Beck, Candace Owens, Patrick Bet-David, Tulsi Gabbard, Dennis Prager, Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, Jonathan Isaac, Tim Pool. Listen, this keeps going. It's 4 days.
Wow.
It's the Coachella of conservative events. Yeonmi Park, Brandon Tatum, Benny Johnson, Seth Dillon, Jack Posobiec, Riley Gaines, Jason Whitlock, everybody.
Wow, Jason Whitlock. That's cool.
Turning Point Action, the 501c4 of Turning Point is going to be there as well. Vivek Ramaswamy, Steve Bannon, Kerry Lake, Trump Jr., Mike Lindell, the Pillow Man.
Mike.
I probably should have led with the Pillow Man.
The Pillow Man. Yes, of course.
I should have led with Pillow Man. Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, Harmeet Dillon. It's going to be nuts.
Dang, dude.
So we're going to be doing that, the show live from there Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. We hope that you guys are tuning in for that. I'm going to be trying to link up with as many people as I can while I'm there to get them on the air because it's just going to be wild. I've been actually texting with Dom Lucre from Twitter fame. We know Dom. He's local here in Nashville.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get him on the show while we're out there. Talk about all things weird and fun.
Weird.
It's a lot of weird stuff lately. It's a lot of weird.
Yeah, you won't
stuff
have a
lately.
shortage of topics with that sort of segment.
Yeah, if we just go under the umbrella of like what's weird
What's
lately,
weird right now?
it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. So we're excited about that. I wish you guys were there. I wish they were doing it in Nashville. That would have been more of a bang.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Full disclosure, I did tell the people at Turning Point USA. I said we should do it in Nashville next year. And they said we should.
Okay.
And they could have just been like, "Shut up, Chris." Like whatever. You know what I mean?
Like,
that
all right,
could have
cool.
been,
Nashville.
Yeah, we should. You know what I mean? It could have been like that. But who knows? Maybe next year it's in Nashville.
So that's legit, maybe.
So
all
if
right.
if AmFest is in Nashville next year, it's like I just want to take full credit early.
That's all me.
Yeah. But no, I'm so excited, and they do a great job. So we'll be doing behind-the-scenes stuff. If you stay tuned to the 99.7 WTN Twitter or my Twitter at Chris Hand on Air, I'll be doing behind-the-scenes stuff all weekend long. It's going to be wild. It's going to be absolutely wild. The last event I went to, ActCon, it was just so cool. They had all the presidential candidates, minus Ron DeSantis because he was scared. But Trump was there, Vivek Ramaswamy. Asa Hutchinson showed up. Asa Hutchinson at ActCon showed up and got booed off stage.
Whoa.
So.
That's nuts.
Yeah, but at least he was brave enough to show up.
Yeah.
You know, kudos to him. So we're gonna have a fun time. They call it the Coachella of conservative events. So, and Big and Rich are going to be there doing a concert too.
What?
Yeah.
So it really is like the Coachella of conservative events. I mean,
really
wow,
is.
yeah, they got music too.
It really 100% is. So.
Just minus the LSD and the assless chaps. That's it.
Yeah. At least minus the assless chaps.
You're like, the LSD? I don't know.
There's going to be some weird guys there. Have you ever heard of Ian Crossland from Timcast? I don't know. There might be some LSD in the audience. Yeah, I'm not going to rule it out. But I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to you guys tuning in while we're there. 4295 says, Jason Whitlock lives in Tennessee. Why haven't you had him on yet? I don't know. I'm just finding that out. Thanks, 4295. I'll try and get Jason Whitlock on. I think he's great. You like Jason Whitlock?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're on it.
Non-woke sports guy.
It's rare.
Very rare. I feel like that should be more lucrative than it is, being a non-woke sports guy.
He's doing pretty well, though.
He is, but like who else other than
I
Jason
guess
Whitlock?
who else other than, yeah, that's a good point.
Guess you could listen to McMaury's sports
I was about to say,
podcast
Behind the Box.
if you want some non-woke sports.
That's it. That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah. When's your new episode out?
I just recorded one yesterday. I don't know when I'm going to release it. It's all Vols, and then I've got another NFL one that I'm recording tonight. So I'll have one out tomorrow, and then maybe another one this week. But
Perfect.
At least one.
And where can they get your podcast?
Wherever, Apple, Spotify.
Perfect.
Yeah, wherever.
Are you going to play the Bills song on your podcast?
Nope, not going to do that.
That's a Chris Hand Show exclusive.
Yeah, that's just for this.
All right,
Yep,
cool.
It's just you.
I'll send you the MP3 if you want it while you're doing
All good.
it.
Actually, email's down. It's not working, so that's too bad. But maybe some
Weird.
other time. I know, super weird.
Weird. Isn't that a kicker how that always happens?
I know, man.
Every time I try to help Mac with his podcast, he's like, my email's not
Email's
working. I don't know
down,
what to tell you. So dumb. Well, we do have a heck of a show for you today. Have you we were talking about the Obama movie. Have you seen the new previews for the Obama Netflix movie?
I can't say that I have, actually.
Oh, you're not excited about it?
They can't say that I am.
So it's this is the new trailer for the Obama movie. It's called Leave the World Behind, and it's kind of weird.
There's something wrong with the TV. It's all messed up.
I wonder what that means.
Or what could it mean?
It could be over in a couple of hours.
You know something. I'm sure this will turn out to be a big nothing.
Massive power outage and
We'll look back on this one day and laugh, I guarantee you.
I think that ship is heading towards us.
What does that mean?
We shouldn't speculate. Haven't you been picking up on what's going on out there?
I don't want to panic over nothing.
I don't think this is nothing.
We're in this together until things get back to normal.
There is no going back to normal.
Get in the car!
Whoever's pulling the strings wants us to finish it. We're gonna be okay, right?
Yeah.
spooky, right?
Extremely.
So the imagery is wild too. They have so the internet goes out. It's a worldwide blackout, power out everywhere. The movie is there's a white family, Julia Roberts' family. They rent an Airbnb at the beach. They're excited. They're going on vacation. The cyber blackout happens. Power out everywhere. You see massive shipping boats, shipping containers. Lose the internet while they're at the beach, and this boat's just careening towards the beach, and like all the people are running out of the way.
Whoa!
And so that's spooky. You see Teslas crashing and crowding up the highway because they all lose internet.
Oh, wow.
Right? Isn't that spooky? I was like, well, I'm out on Teslas. So I've actually heard that, in like an EMP attack, most of the new cars have so much computer equipment in them that a newer car, even one that's not a Tesla, isn't going to survive an EMP attack. You would need to have like something older than a 1984. I believe that was the year.
Dang.
I could be
Wow.
I could be off on that. Somebody on the super text line will know because you guys are much smarter than I. But it's like there's too many computer components, and they'll all be fried because it's more computer than car. So it's like for me, I'm like I got to get an old car, just by watching the preview.
Yeah, for real.
And the imagery is wild, and then of course there's the woke stuff in there as well because it's produced by the Obamas, so you gotta squeeze in the woke.
I'm asking for you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people.
Yep. So don't just remember that if the world falls apart, don't dole out trust to white people, especially white people. So it's definitely produced by the Obamas. But as I'm watching this, I'm like, I've been down this rabbit hole before. I have. This all sounds familiar. And in fact, it is very familiar. The World Economic Forum put out a video about these kind of cyber blackouts 2 years ago. The World Economic Forum, the same guys that knew that, a global pandemic was coming. The same guys that predicted that. Isn't that weird?
It's weird.
COVID-19 pandemic has shaken our economies and societies to the core and shown us how vulnerable we are to biological threats. In the digital world, similar risks are being overlooked right now. a cyber attack with COVID-like characteristics would spread faster and further than any biological virus.
Oh, yeah, so it's a lot more dangerous.
Its reproductive rate would be around 10 times greater than what we've experienced with the coronavirus. To give you an idea, one of the fastest worms in history, the 2003 Slammer sapphire worm, doubled in size approximately every 8.5 seconds, infecting over 75,000 devices in 10 minutes and almost 11 million devices in 24 hours. Fortunately, at least until now, cyber attacks have not impacted our health the way pandemics have.
But wait, there's more.
But the economic damages, and therefore the impact they have had on our daily lives, have been equal and sometimes even greater. You see, the only way to stop the exponential propagation of a COVID-like cyber threat is to fully disconnect the millions of vulnerable devices from one another and from the internet. All of this in a matter of days. A single day without the internet would cost our economies more than $50 billion, and that's before considering the economic and societal damages should these devices be linked to essential services such as transport or healthcare. As the digital realm increasingly merges with our physical world, the ripple effects of cyber attacks on our safety just keep on expanding at a faster pace than what we're preparing for. COVID-19 was known as an anticipated risk. So is the digital equivalent. Let's be better prepared for that one. The time is now.
Spooky, right?
Very.
Spooky. So I did what any good human would do. I asked AI what happens in a global blackout. And the AI, you know, they know. They're family with all these guys.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So it's their bread and butter. You know what I mean? Immediate impacts, according to AI, loss of power, chaos and confusion, disruption of essential services like hospitals, water treatment plants, and communication networks that are all reliant on electricity. Failure would have severe consequences for public and safety health, economic collapse. Pretty cool. Not scary.
Yeah, no, pretty okay.
Not scary. Not shaking in the corner yet, right? Long-term impact, food and water shortages, disease outbreaks, social unrest and violence, environmental damage. Wait a second. So the long-term impacts just seems like everyday life in America, right?
Yeah, we're not screwed, though. It's all good.
We're already there on the long-term impacts. But, you know, they say, how do you prepare? Well, build an emergency kit, stay informed, secure your home. It sounds like buy ammo and water. Plan for alternative energy sources. You know, I like the alternative energy sources, but in a global blackout, if you're running your generator at night, like instantly a target. You know, if you're cooking on a hot plate during the day when people are hungry, they're going to smell that bacon from miles away.
Yeah.
You know, like, spoiler alert. You're giving yourself away. They say learn basic survival skills, build a community network. You are only going to be as strong as your network in those kind of situations if it was a total collapse, a total breakdown. But, you know, this is all science fiction, right? This couldn't happen in real life. Right?
Yeah, right, guys?
Right? This is all just a movie, right? The artificial intelligence that I asked also said, stay calm. All right.
That makes me less calm.
That makes me way less calm. Like computer voices. It says turn off appliances and electronics. Use flashlights and candles for lights. Avoid ration your food and water. Stay informed. They keep saying stay informed, but how am I going to stay informed? I don't understand. So like check your local smoke signals and stay informed. Long-term survival, focus on essential needs, conserve resources, maintain hygiene. Maintain hygiene. Okay. Stay positive and hopeful. That to me was the best suggestion from AI.
What do you know about positivity, AI?
Yeah, you don't even have emotion.
Come on.
What are you doing? Additional tips from artificial intelligence. Avoid driving unless absolutely necessary. Good to know.
Yeah.
Thanks. Additional tips. Be prepared for potential looting and violence. Oh, jeez.
Lovely.
Makes you feel good. And then another tip: avoid spreading rumors and misinformation. Well, that's going to be the hardest one for me to avoid. I'll tell you the truth right now. And then there's more. Said preparedness is key to surviving a global blackout. But this is science fiction, right?
Exactly. This isn't going to happen.
Yeah. Except we now know that China's been hacking our infrastructure. Yeah, weird. Washington Post has a story on that. Fox News is reporting on that. China, they're getting into water plants, electric plants. I'm going to have more on that next. Hang out with us. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. When you're thinking about your future, a financial plan and financial stability is going to be a big priority. So, do you have a financial plan for you and your family? I'm a husband and father to four, and I'll be honest with you, my wife and I, we didn't have a plan. But we do now because we linked up with Paul Winkler and Paul Winkler Inc. Now, because Paul and his team hold themselves to a higher level of fiduciary standard than is required, I have to tell you that government regulators require that I say I'm paid every time this commercial airs, and I am. But that's not why I'm a client of Paul's. I'm a client of Paul's because he can break down financial information and education for me in a way that I can understand it. I'll be honest, I'm a financially illiterate guy, or at least I was, until Paul and his team provided me with investment education. The education is backed by Nobel Prize-winning research, and they explain it in a way that I can understand. Now, Paul and his team are so good, and you can trust them because nothing they do is done on commission. I'll say it again, nothing they do is done on commission. To me, that is one of the biggest selling points of Paul Winkler and Paul Winkler Inc. Because you can be sure when they give you a plan for you and your family, it is for you and your family, and there are no motives because what you decide doesn't benefit their family. They're only in it for your family because nothing is done on commission. If you don't have a financial plan, you should check out Paul Winkler and Paul Winkler Inc. Every office is run by a degree planner with over 20 years of experience, and you can feel the difference between Paul's team and the rest because of that experience. So talk to one of his team members. Set up a complimentary 15-minute phone call right now on his website, paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com, or call 615-851-1950.
Got a crash in Williamson County. This is affecting 65 northbound just past Moore's Lane. The right shoulder is blocked by that crash. Israel thinks its troops are closing in on the leader of Hamas, and Republicans in Congress say they can't be clear enough with the president of Ukraine visiting today. Details at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, it's so exciting when the president of Ukraine visits. I wonder how much money we're going to give him this time. It is 9:28 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're going to be talking about the hack from China on the U.S. But in the meantime, Mac is monitoring the Super Text line, and we're getting your texts fast and furious here.
Yeah, so it seems like a couple people have seen this Obama movie on Netflix. 99.99 said, I watched it last night. I liked it. A lot of people hated the ending. Sally texted in. She said, had I known it was Obama's movie, my bias would have not watched or enjoyed. Oh, well, I did both.
Oh.
Interesting.
0272 said, racist bleeping movie.
So some conflicting reports?
All right, conflicting reports. Jared said the movie was great. I didn't like the ending, though. A lot of people didn't like the ending.
Yeah, okay, so the ending, all right.
So, yeah, I felt the same way about Scarface. You know? I did. Todd texted in. Todd's here. Todd, show starts at 9.
Nice.
Hey, welcome. We were talking earlier about, older cars and an EMP attack and how older cars are safe. And Todd said you can actually take older cars and shield them from an EMP. Newer cars would not be. So if you ever want to know which mailman Todd is, he's the one with the modified mail truck tank. That would be Todd.
G.I. Joe looking mail truck.
Yeah, hey, what's the mailman creed, Todd? It's like rain, sleet, hail, or snow. We're gonna deliver that mail. Like, add EMPs in there.
Add it for Todd.
Yeah, Todd's got you covered in case of EMPs. Also, people are asking, we were talking about what happens during a cyber blackout. What shouldn't you do? And so I asked artificial intelligence, because who would know better than the computer itself? And the computer said, don't spread misinformation. So I think it was Sally texted in and said, How are we going to spread misinformation? Carrier pigeon? Yes. I'll be the guy sending out memes on carrier pigeon, just in case.
Oh yeah, of course.
In case you were wondering. All right, hang out with us. We're going to talk about China hacking the U.S. next. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$9:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Israel, Hamas's leaders' days may be numbered. James Longman speaking with Amos Yadlin, the former head of Israeli military intelligence.
Is there anything to say that he's still in Gaza?
No doubt that he is in Khan Yunis.
No doubt?
No doubt. And no doubt that we will find him, or our bomb will find him.
How can you be so sure that he's there?
Good intelligence.
Another border crossing set to open in Gaza today to allow for the critical aid for civilians. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky meeting with lawmakers in Congress today to ask for more aid for his military against Russia, but Republicans telling President Biden not a penny more for Ukraine until...
You have a fundamental duty to secure the border of the United States, first and foremost. Do it. This is non-negotiable. I don't know how clear I need to be about that.
As Congressman Chip Roy of Texas talking to reporters. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey everybody, I'm Paul Winkler. The financial world can be full of landmines for investors. On the one hand, investment firms and the financial community will often overcomplicate the financial planning process to confuse investors. As one guy who used to work a big investment firm once told me, if an investor thinks that they're over their head, they'll blindly trust you. And it's easier to sell to them. I'm glad I'm away from that. On the other hand, many people oversimplify investing to the detriment of investors. Just having a little knowledge can be really dangerous. The idea there is the same. It's just a different way of selling things. At Paul Winkler Inc., we like working alongside our clients with an education guidance approach. I believe that there's confidence that comes with knowing what you're doing and why. We abide by the very highest level of fiduciary care, and we use the most sophisticated financial planning tools out there. And every one of our offices is run by a degreed planner with over 20 years experience. No kids fresh out of college. If that sounds like a winning formula, set up a free 15-minute phone call to learn more. Go to paulwinkler.com or call 615-851-1950. You can do this.
$9:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We were talking about said we were going to talk about the China hack, but before we get to that, we were also talking about EMPs and, you know, the Obama movie, Leave the World Behind, which is new on Netflix. The first Obama movie that they produced. And I played the trailer. In the trailer, they say, we're all in this together. My wife texted me, said, we're in this together. Heard that a time or two. Yeah. Based wife listening at home. So I hope everybody gets themselves a based wife.
We all deserve a based wife.
Yeah. Very, very underrated asset if there's a huge cyber blackout. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be stuck with a liberal wife if that happens. Just, it's not exactly the best move. Now, one of the things we talked about, EMPs, and I knew you guys would know. Everybody's chiming in. If an EMP attack happens, because in the movie, there's this imagery of all these Teslas on the road crashing into each other. The internet's down, electricity's out. So just highways crowded with Teslas, which I thought was funny. So then Todd said, you can take older cars and shield them from EMP. Todd is one of our favorite mailmen. I made the joke that Todd would be in a tank delivering mail, rain, sleet, hail, or snow, or EMP. Todd's going to be there on the go. And he said, he responded with one word, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And then I didn't realize, let me rephrase this. I knew that postal workers were the most based government employees. Full disclosure. Easily.
Far and away.
Hands down. The most based. But we also got a text here, 3032. I'm a rural mail carrier in Westmoreland, Tennessee. Listen every day. Shout out to all my fellow mail carriers this time of year. It's wall-to-wall packages every day. Then I started thinking, maybe the mail carriers are like, dude, right now an EMP would be solid because they are knee-deep in packages this time of year. So shout out to all the mail carriers. 8559 said, our mailman would be good. His car is an old Jeep with an exhaust manifold leak. We can hear him popping up our road. Yeah, that car would survive. that car would be solid. John said everybody should get a based wife.
Yeah.
All the guys listening.
Bingo.
Yeah. I don't know why is that confusing?
Is that controversial?
No, I don't know. Is that one of my more controversial takes?
That right up there with snow. Snow is real. Snow
is real. Birds are fake. Get a based wife. Yeah. This is the Chris Hand Show. It starts at 9. Use that for the promo. So China is hacking the U.S. And this story comes out from the Washington Post, which is, I don't know. Take that source how you want to take it. But a lot of people are reporting on it. Fox News reporting on China hacking the U.S. as well. Here's what that sounds like.
COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, nope. That's the World Economic Forum. Sorry. Where we go? China hack. Here it is.
Post reveals hackers affiliated with China's People's Liberation Army have infiltrated critical services here in the U.S.
Alexandra Hoff joins us now from our nation's capital. Alex, this is not good.
No, it's not. I mean, this infiltration appears to be part of a broader effort to insert chaos into our logistical systems. The information collected could then be weaponized if the U.S. and China were to become engaged directly in the Pacific. According to reporting from the Washington Post citing multiple U.S. and industry security officials, China's cyber army is invading critical U.S. services, like an attempt to break into the system behind Texas's independent power grid. Other victims include a water utility in Hawaii, a West Coast port, and at least one oil and gas pipeline, according to that report you're seeing there. Brendan Wells, executive director of the Department of Homeland Security's cybersecurity agency, told the Washington Post this, quote, "It is very clear that Chinese attempts to compromise critical infrastructure are in part to pre-position themselves to be able to disrupt or destroy that critical infrastructure in the event of a conflict, to either prevent the United States from being able to project power into Asia or to cause societal chaos inside the United States to affect our decision-making around a crisis." The report notes that over the past year, hackers affiliated with the People's Liberation Army in China have accessed the computer systems of about 24 critical entities.
All right, so China's all up in our stuff.
China?
All up in our business, China is. China.
China?
China. Now, I'm old enough to remember Joe Biden telling us that China's not a bad guy, folks. They're our competition. They're not our enemy, right? Okay. So meanwhile, when President Xi Jinping comes to San Francisco, they scurry away the homeless. They line the street with Chinese flags. They roll out the red carpet for this guy. And it seems like that U.S. intelligence knew that China and their cyber army had been hacking a water utility in Hawaii, a major West Coast port, at least one oil and gas pipeline, an attempted breach of Texas's power grid. It seems like our government knew, and they still rolled out the red carpet for this guy. It's not a bad guy, folks. The Chinese cyber army is testing out their ability to sow chaos, according to the Fox News report. Testing out their ability. Interesting, isn't it? Now, it does get me going down the rabbit hole of, remember the gas pipeline, the gas line hack from North Carolina that kind of screwed everything up? Maybe they're hacking trains, all the train derailments. I do start thinking like that because a lot of these hacks, they don't want to be caught. They don't want people to know that they're in there. They're trying to lay low. So while we're debating whether or not we should send billions of dollars over to Ukraine today with Vladimir Zelensky coming into town with, his hands out again in his same green shirt, our infrastructure is falling apart. Falling apart. China's taking full advantage of it. Let's give another billion to Zelensky, right? This is what I've been saying so often. We have so many problems at home, and we don't address them. We have so many problems. Wide open border, crumbling infrastructure. Let's send billions to Ukraine. Let's send billions to foreign conflict all over the world. Let's fund both sides of the Israel-Hamas war. Let's do that instead of fixing our own problems at home. We are going to be in a worse position if we don't put our oxygen mask on first in this country. We are. And we're not fixing these things. It's amazing that the Washington Post put this report out anyway. It hurts Biden. It makes him look weak. And here we are. Here we are. It seems like we're waiting for another shoe to drop. Let's go to Brian in Thompson Station. He wants to talk about the Chinese hacking. What's up, Brian? You're on Super Talk.
Well, I was thinking, if the Chinese start messing with our utilities and stuff, I don't think they have a lot of blue roofs over there. The government could just use their space laser and light China on fire like it did Hawaii.
Yes, all right. So you're a fan of deploying space lasers. Thanks for the call, Brian. Appreciate you, man. Does China have a lot of blue roofs, Mac? Go ahead and fact check that for me.
China.
Of course, that's from the theory that the one weakness of space lasers, the one weakness of direct energy weapons and space lasers, blue paint, the color blue. I don't know. I feel like that's a weird theory. Like not the space lasers thing. All in on space lasers. But the blue roof theory.
All in on space lasers.
All in on space lasers. But the blue roof theory kind of, I don't know. I've seen the videos from Maui where it's like all the blue stuff is still there. It's a little weird, right? It's a little weird. China starts painting everything blue. We're going to know something's up.
Ooh, 1509 texted in. How much intelligence did they pick up with that Chinese spy balloon that came over? Seems like the government completely forgot about it, or probably Biden just turned his head.
Biden forgot what he had for lunch. So.
Don't.
Sorry. We'll stick to the facts. We won't just mock you.
It's working.
It's not. It's not, sir. China they are literally undermining us every single way. Here's another story that I thought was interesting when it comes to China. A Chinese national has been arrested. China. Yep. Chinese national has been arrested. And we, first of all, we know Chinese nationals are coming across our border. I played the clip about the Chinese Underground Railroad through South America, where they're stopping in hotels in Colombia. They have their routes pre-planned on WhatsApp. They got the nicest luggage, these Chinese migrants. Nicer luggage than I'm going to be taking to Phoenix at the end of the week. Much nicer. These guys are ready. They're coming through the southern border. We know Chinese nationals are here. They have police stations in our country. We know that. They have biolabs. In what was it, San Francisco? They had the biolab. They're all over the place, and we welcome them in. We rolled out the red carpet, right? But here's another story: Chinese national arrested. Want to know what this Chinese national was arrested for?
Yeah.
He was placed in federal custody for allegedly spraying swastikas on a Kalamazoo, Michigan Hanukkah display. Now, this is one of the things that I think is important to point out. The Fox News report says, they want to sow chaos and division. That is such a communist playbook tactic. Now, back in the Cold War, one of the communist ideas was, listen, we're so diverse in America. One of the ways to attack us is to cause division and racial division. And I see this story from the Post-Millennial about a Chinese national being arrested for allegedly spraying swastikas on a Hanukkah display. And I think, that is such a commie move. Now, we do know that there are American citizens, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas people out there, they're anti-Semitic, all the things, right? But I think that this is important to point out that a communist nation like China, they're absolutely leaning in on that. And you can see it when a Chinese national is arrested for spraying swastikas on Hanukkah displays in Michigan. So this was last Thursday. 27-year-old Zhafeng Chen was arrested. He was arrested in Arizona after he spray painted swastikas on Hanukkah decorations and the wall outside of the Shabbat of Kalamazoo in Michigan. Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety said the FBI worked in coordination with other law enforcement agencies in Arizona to locate and ultimately arrest the Chinese national. He was booked also booked on an unrelated charge on November 27th, according to WTVB. Chen is now in federal custody. In a statement, the police said the investigation into the incidents that occurred here in Kalamazoo is ongoing. Once complete, the investigation will be forwarded to the appropriate authority seeking charges. Officers said they don't know what his motivation was. Well, I will speculate on what his motivation was for spraying racist graffiti. The motivation is to cause more division. And we're seeing the division is pretty easy to exploit. And we know that communist nations have that in their game plan. They've had it since the Cold War. Use, what our government will say, diversity is our strength. Our enemies look at that and go, we can exploit that. And I think that this is just another case of that. They say he was difficult to identify because he had no real ties to Kalamazoo. He'd only been here for about a month. He's kind of been all over the country. Doesn't that make you feel warm and fuzzy inside? A Chinese national just kind of being all over the country. Just popping around, sightseeing. Weird. The vandalism took place on November 17th. The community immediately worked together to clean it up. And I'm sure at the same time they said it was pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, and it caused more division. That's such a communist tactic. They said they're not going to push us away. If anything, they're going to make us stronger. That was a rabbi in the town said that. But, since October 7th, we've seen this, anti-Semitism on the rise. And I think that when you see a story like this, it's like, okay, take a step back. Let's figure out exactly what happened. Because there are other nation states, there are other communists out there that are looking at this going, ooh, we can exploit that. And that's what China's doing. But, if you listen to the big guy, you listen to Joe Biden, come on, folks. China's, they're a friend. They're a developing nation. So what do I know, right?
Freedom.
Yeah. That's what they're about. Ask the Uyghur Muslims. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Still got some slow go due to a crash on 65 northbound in Williamson County. The right shoulder block there in Cool Springs. And then in Antioch, you got a crash, Murfreesboro Pike and Hamilton Church Road. Deadly crash involving a Middle Tennessee fire rescue vehicle under investigation. Rudy Giuliani facing Georgia election workers today, and Smile Direct Club announcing it's shutting down, and some customers aren't smiling. These stories and more at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 9:58 already. Whew. Show's flying by. Starts at 9. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, our friend Tim Jones, Sumner County Commissioner, just texted me this, and I feel the need to share. There's going to be a Sumner County Disaster Relief Community Cleanup Day Saturday, December 16th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Volunteers are being asked to check in at their disaster headquarters, 300 Indian Lake Boulevard, Suite D160. 300 Indian Lake Boulevard, Sumner County Disaster Relief Community Cleanup Day, Saturday, December 16th, 8 to 3 p.m. So if you want to volunteer, we highly suggest that you get involved. This is one of the, again, you know, it's so sad to see the destruction of these tornadoes, but this kind of stuff gives me such hope and you know, like, it makes me happy seeing the community come together like this. And again, shout out to Tim Jones sharing this with us. United Way of Sumner County Community Cleanup Day, Saturday, December 16th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you want to volunteer, check in at their disaster headquarters, 300 Indian Lake Boulevard, at the streets of Indian Lake and Hendersonville, where they'll be given supplies and assigned to a cleanup location. So shout out to Tim Jones spreading the word.
It's awesome.
If you guys need some info on this, you missed some of it, just text me. I'll forward you this text from our friend Tim Jones. This is it's like I said to my kids, they're watching the destruction on TV and looking at it, and they're like, wow, this is terrible. It's like, well, look for the helpers. You know, that old Mr. Rogers line. Tim Jones, Sumner County, they're your helpers. And everybody can help, and that's what I love about this community. It is now 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken Weaver with the latest headlines right now.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, the Highway Patrol's investigating a deadly crash involving a Clarksville fire rescue vehicle. The SUV was responding to a house fire when the fatal crash happened on Peachers Mill Road. The fire department employee was transported to the hospital to be assessed and later released. Clarksville Fire posting to Facebook, "Our deepest sympathy goes out to the victim's family. We ask for prayers for everyone affected by this tragic accident." Tornado recovery. Thousands in Middle Tennessee still without electricity, and it's cold. Channel 4's Carly Gordon reports part of the reason tornadoes hitting NES substations on Saturday.
NES says they had 2 substations that took direct hits, this one in Madison and then another in Hendersonville. More than 300 crews are working to get them back up and running right now.
NES says as of this morning, they had about 3,000 customers to go, but it could be days before everyone's power is fully restored. Rudy Giuliani facing millions of dollars in damages for defaming 2 Georgia election workers. He's already been found liable in the case. Now, a jury will decide how much money he has to pay the 2 women. Here's ABC News senior national correspondent Terry Moran at the courthouse in Washington.
Rudy Giuliani is back in court, face-to-face with the 2 Georgia election workers whose lives were nearly ruined by his repeated falsehoods and conspiracy theories about them after the 2020 election. Giuliani telling me after court yesterday he stands by all of it.
Do you regret what you did to Ruby Freeman?
Of course I don't regret it. I told the truth. They were engaged in changing votes.
There's no proof of that.
Oh, you're damn right there is. Stay tuned.
Giuliani's already conceded in court that he made false statements about the mother and daughter, but he argues he had a constitutional right to do so. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
10:04 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's Chris Hand. Don't forget, you can listen to us wherever you go with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app. Our friend Fletch literally listens to us while he's cleaning the windows on the skyscrapers across Nashville.
So cool.
Yeah. So literally, you can listen to us anywhere. So if you see those guys on how do you say that? I don't know how you say that.
The risers,
the you know what I'm talking about, like the little rope thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's gonna send me a mean message. Anyway, if you see him hanging out up there, he's listening to us.
He obviously doesn't listen to us because we're smart. Because we can't even think of the name.
I don't know. That's why we do this. We couldn't be trusted to do Fletch's job.
Exactly.
But he listens to us. You can always send us messages too. I'm on Twitter at Chris Hand on Air. Mac, I'm getting messages from a friend named Ray.
Ray.
He wants to know why I'm not giving you hell about the Titans winning last night.
Ray.
Would that get under your skin?
No, I was rooting for the Titans.
See, that's why I'm not doing it.
Okay, that's lovely.
Also, the Chiefs are playing the Patriots this week.
I know. I was thinking about that. Oh, yeah. I'm excited.
Should we do like some sort of fun bet?
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, please. With your team this year, let's make a bet.
All right. We just get like some of those spicy chips, like the super spicy chips.
Okay, great. I'm in. We're winning that game. Book it.
Okay.
I'll have a song ready. I'll tell you that.
All right. Good to know. Everybody's like, I got a message the other day. It was like, how do you not know it's the Patriots? Like, well, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, how convenient. Your team stops being good. Yeah, I don't care. It's all good.
Yeah, weird. Weird.
Oh, scaffolding. Is that what we were looking for? Was that the word we were looking for?
Scaffolding is like the little platform. He's not on those. Like he looks like a mountain climber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's not the technical term. Somebody else super text line will help us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of the super text line, 4029 texted in.
All right, what did 4029 say?
Chris, has anyone mentioned there's been a white unmarked blimp flying around our area seen by new outlet malls yesterday and over Murfreesboro lately? Surely it's for advertising or something similar, but it's unmarked.
I've heard about this spooky lit up blimp. I'm not saying it's aliens, but we don't know what it is. My wife brought this up to me last night. There's a spooky glowing blimp flying around. Yeah, it glows.
All right, that makes it weirder.
It's weirder, right?
It makes it weirder.
It's flying around Murfreesboro. I don't know what it is. Apparently nobody knows what it is, but there's many Facebook posts about it.
It's strange. Just plain white, just nothing on it.
Yeah. I bet you it's like the kids at MTSU doing something weird.
Could see that.
Ray says, I'm looking at it right now in Murfreesboro.
Whoa.
It's currently headed south of Murfreesboro.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. They sent a picture. Spooky blimp.
Picture?
Spooky blimp.
It is spooky. Yeah, that's interesting. Just plain old white. Yeah, I've seen nothing online about it from any news outlets or anything like that. So we've got the scoop.
We are monitoring the spooky blimp in Murfreesboro.
It was over Brentwood last week, according to 1967.
Oh, geez. Last Friday, it was parked at the Smyrna airport.
What?
Oh, my gosh. All these texts are coming in.
Yeah, a lot of people have seen the blimp.
Matt says it could just be privately owned. I prefer aliens. I feel like that's more fun. Aliens or the Chinese? It's got to be one of them, right?
There's no other option.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. It was at the Smyrna airport. Yeah.
So what is this spooky blimp?
Yeah, everyone's seen it. I haven't seen it. What the heck?
0246 says I seen it off 840.
Interesting.
0388
says it's Chris Christie.
Fact check that. Didn't Donald Trump say that? Or somebody said he looked like a spy balloon. I think it was Trump.
Trump said that's pretty funny.
I think it checks out.
That's pretty funny.
It's 1125 said it's the new COVID variant. It's not a blimp.
It's the new COVID variant.
Checks out. If you're down low enough, it can't get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, 0020 says it's training pilots.
What?
Yeah. 1093 texted in. We were talking about Fletch cleaning. He's on the skyscrapers, cleaning the windows. Listen to us. It's belay and harness were the terms that we were thinking of. Yep. Nailed it. That's exactly
where I was at.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
You were right with the rock climbing. Yeah, I guess I should have thought about that more.
3747 says it's Chinese aliens. Whoa.
That's a boom.
Nailed it. All right, so 1513 says it's full of woo girls. it's just the new bachelorette party thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Checks out. Yeah, well, hey, listen. I think we're the only show talking about the spooky Chinese alien blimp over Murfreesboro. So
yeah, we'll keep you up to date on its whereabouts.
We're gonna figure out what's going on here. We will. Speaking of, somebody said it's the new COVID variant. Have you heard what the CDC director is saying?
No.
Got to get your mask on, buddy.
Get your updated COVID and flu vaccines and your RSV vaccine if you're over 60. It's not too late to get vaccinated if you haven't already. And use additional layers of protection, like avoiding people who are sick, washing your hands, improving ventilation, and wearing a mask. And if you do get sick, I know it's hard, but stay home so you don't spread germs to others. And get tested so you know what you have and you can get treatment.
Okay. Yep. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Everybody's going off about this blimp on the super text line. My wife texted and said the Nextdoor app is going off about it. What is this blimp? Lena says the balloon is full of lot lizards. 7453 says that's what the Chinese migrants had in their smart luggage. They assembled it on site. Yep. Everybody's got pictures of this spooky blimp. 3616 says it's the Joe Biden elect me blimp. It's the elect me blimp. They forgot to put the messaging on it. 3493. It's a tag. There's a tag saying made in China. China. All right. So yeah, we have no idea what this blimp is. It's interesting. It is interesting. People want to know. Mac is on the phone with somebody talking about the blimp right now. Are you getting answers? Did you get answers?
Kathy said that the blimp tried to land at the Smyrna airport the other day. Maybe someone should contact them. And she also said it is extremely loud.
It's a loud blimp.
Loud blimp.
Are blimps quiet? Technically, like
fact checking.
Yeah, fact check that. Are blimps quiet? 8759 said blimp rights are human rights.
Airships have a noise level on the outside that's similar to conventional prop-driven aircraft. So, yeah, I guess.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, propellers are incredibly noisy. Yep. So that is normal.
Okay.
But that's what the aliens, they would know that's normal, so they'd make sure it's loud.
Checks out. If I was an alien and I wanted to disguise my blimp, I would make it loud. Wouldn't you? Oh, my gosh. 0388 said the blimp's catalytic converter was stolen. Oh, my gosh. You guys are funny on the Super Text line. We got, oh, my gosh, look at all these calls coming in. Everybody wants to talk about the blimp. Why? I didn't realize this blimp was such a big deal in Middle Tennessee. Everybody's talking about the blimp. Let's go to Jane in Mount Juliet. Jane, have you seen this mysterious blimp?
No, but there was a news story on one of the stations in Nashville. They're training blimp drivers because they don't have enough pilots. And there's only one hangar in Smyrna that is big enough in this area to house them.
Is there a shortage on blimp pilots?
Evidently.
Okay, all right. We heard it. You heard it here first. There's a shortage on blimp pilots. Thank you, Jane. Let's go to Tommy in the borough. He says he has a scoop on the blimp. Tommy, what's up?
Yeah, they had a story on Murfreesboro.com last week. What it is, I believe the last caller said it. There's a hangar in Smyrna They have two of the blimps there, and they are training new pilots for blimps. Is what they're doing.
That's so weird. I didn't know there was a shortage on blimp pilots.
I didn't either, but apparently so.
I don't know. It seems like a cover-up, Tommy. What do you think?
You could be training China pilots.
Hey, it could be. Could be. I don't know. It seems fishy. Thanks for the call. Paul in Lebanon,
Yes,
have you seen the blimp, Paul?
I have. I saw it, I guess it was 3 or 4 days ago. I was out at Faith Sanders Boat Dock, and it came over the marina probably 500 feet up, very low. I talked to somebody either out at the marina or somewhere around the Smyrna, Lebanon area the other day, and they said that they do maintenance on those blimps out at the air base, and that they're out there quite often. So that's, I don't know if that's the case with this one. I hadn't heard the story about the training of the pilots, but I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there.
Hey, appreciate you, Paul. We're getting to the bottom of this thing. I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. So they're training blimp pilots. There's a shortage on blimp pilots.
Interesting.
Yeah. I prefer the aliens theory.
Yeah, let's keep that one going.
8523 texted in and says it's the Kansas City Chiefs blimp and it's offsides.
Ha ha ha.
Don't.
What's wrong, Mac?
Not over it.
What? Is it too soon?
Yeah, I'm not over it.
You're not over it?
Offsides. That was a good one, 85-23. Oh, my.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout.
All right, I had an opportunity to. I couldn't miss that. Sorry, there's a shortage on blimp pilots, I guess. So.
Tim texted in, why is there a need for blimp pilots all of a sudden?
Oh.
That's the conspiracy rabbit hole.
That's the conspiracy.
That's it. There's got to be one.
Dan's going to send me a text, be like, talking about mystery blimps. I don't know if that's newsworthy.
Is that content?
The people want to know. The people want to know about blimps. Todd texted in, our favorite mailman, said, this will turn to the new leftist agenda. It's a metaphor for white privilege. They will want affirmative action for that thing. All right.
Bingo.
Thanks, Todd. Tim Jones wants to know if blimps are less likely to be affected by an EMP. But it depends on when the blimp was made, Tim.
0388 says blimps need love too. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Listen, we are all for blimp rights.
Absolutely.
We're equal opportunity for aircrafts here on the Chris Hand Show. You can be a blimp, hovercraft, whatever, we're all in. 1137 said the blimps control the birds. Oh, jeez.
That's it.
That's it. All right. I think we spent way too much time on this. Have we spent too much time on the blimp? I mean, we're still getting ridiculous amounts of texts. I mean,
it is a lot of texts.
Like 100 texts here about the blimp. 0994 says they're actually training French pilots. Oh. So is that why it's all white? So waving the white flag already? Checks out. All right. Hang out with us. We do have more on the way. I want to talk about 2024. I want to talk about the Biden crime family and the border. Hang out. It's the Chris Hand Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A behind-closed-door meeting with Ukraine's president in our nation's capital has just wrapped up. And here in Middle Tennessee, scammers are targeting tornado victims. These stories and more at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're still getting calls and texts about this blimp, like nonstop.
Yeah, we just had a guy, Mark, call in and say that he's, done work tangential with the blimp, so that's been here for years and part of training, but also says that like it goes to Super Bowl sites, brings equipment and stuff.
It's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
More than the Chiefs can say. All right.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We also got a text over here from 19 or no, sorry. Shoot. I lost a text. Anyway.
No.
Somebody sent me a text and I want to thank them for it. They sent me the article from murfreesboro.com, which has a video explaining this blimp. So,
okay.
Listen, still could be aliens. I'm not going to rule that out. But this is how they're explaining it. Oh, hang on 1 second. Let me turn on my audio. This is the story on the blimp.
Hey, everybody. This next video I actually find pretty hilarious because the amount of messages, emails, and actually calls that we've received about that thing right behind me.
He points to the blimp.
It's hilarious. Hey, John, what the hell is that thing flying around in the sky? Is that a UFO? Is that thing following me? Ah! Is that a government spy balloon?
It could be.
Hey, what's that phallic-shaped thing in the sky over there? It's just a blimp, folks. It's just a blimp.
I don't know. It sounds like somebody that had a government spying blimp. It sounds exactly like what they would say. I don't know. This guy says it's just a blimp. Let's hear more.
Now, the hangar behind me is where the blimp is housed because it's the only hangar big enough around Middle Tennessee to house a blimp of that size. And let me tell you, I don't know if you can capture it on camera, but this hangar is huge.
It's massive.
All right, this is Justin and Jake from Holland's Head Aviation here at the Smyrna Airport, and this is actually blimp number 2 right behind us. This is so cool. Thank you guys for helping us out with this. This is the coolest video I think we've ever done. So, blimp behind us, number 2, blimp 1 outside. What's going on with the blimp?
So the blimps, what they're doing here right now is they're training pilots.
Okay.
There's not many blimp facilities in the area. Blimps are kind of hard to come by, which is why everybody's freaking out about it.
Yeah.
So right now they're training, last I heard they're training some French pilots on it. So they're going to be training pilots here to fly blimps in France, which is going to be, it's pretty cool.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, so it's...
I don't know. Should we support the French in this kind of way? What have the French done for us lately? They're just training their blimp pilots?
Oui, oui.
Okay. All right. Calm down there, fella.
It's not a Chinese spy balloon.
No.
It's not. Yeah. So I know. I can imagine we were talking the calls y'all are getting about this thing. It's pretty funny, y'all. But so blimp number 2. So this is people wrap it, right? They hire people out for advertising. Is that right?
Yep. Advertising. Okay. This was a big Subway sandwich at one point. I don't know if any of y'all have seen it going.
Yeah.
Before.
I stopped doing Subway after Jared Fogle.
Imagine seeing a big old Philly cheesesteak flying through the sky. Like,
yeah.
Smart move, Subway. Speaking of hangars, do you even know how big this one is? This thing is massive.
I wish I had a square footage number. Yeah. But this hangar is pretty massive. Built in World War II to house blimps here as well. Back when the airport was built. I don't have a number, but it's
big. Massive. Now, one cool thing I thought was pretty interesting when Jake and I walked in here was I hear birds everywhere, and I thought, man, you got birds nesting in the rafters or something? No.
All right, so everybody's saying it's to distract us from the birds not being real. They also were housing the fake birds in the hangar. Is that what I'm picking up? It is pretty cool. This hangar is massive, and it was built in World War II. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Nope. What are they?
We have like a bird security system, I guess, where we play like noises of predator birds, like a hawk, and that prevents a lot of birds from nesting inside the hangar. So yeah, we got the surround sound.
I don't know if y'all can see this, but again, this hangar is massive and there's rafters everywhere. That's pretty cool. That's a security system for birds. It's pretty neat. All right, folks. Now you've heard it right here from Justin and Jake from Holland's Head Aviation here at the Smyrna Airport. It's not a Chinese spy balloon.
It's a blimp.
All right, just a blimp. Not a Chinese spy balloon. And they're helping out the French, and it's going to the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs aren't. Did we cover everything? I think we covered everything. Mac is on the phone right now, but he's shaking his head at me because he's very disappointed. Very disappointed. So it's just a blimp. It's just a blimp. 0093 said on the French, they gave us kissing and fries. We owe them. All right. We'll give them a pass. We'll give the French a pass. Get those French pilots some burgers and freedom fries. Just a blimp. Sometimes the most simple solution is the most accurate solution. Did not expect to spend this much time on a random blimp. But the people want to know. The people want to know what this blimp was. It's just a blimp. Just a blimp. 0308 texts in said, great show today. Love the blimp talk. We live in Smyrna and see it sometimes. Grandkids love it. Mac Morey, sorry, I thought your name was Matt. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Quiet down, Matt. All right, yeah. All right, it's just a blimp. I don't know. I wish it was something more fun.
Yeah, just a big old blimp.
Just a blimp. All right. I'm glad we solved the mystery. It was a big mystery. People wanted to know.
4680 Hillary looking for her next victim.
Oh. Could also be true. I feel like this is like the biggest letdown in the history of conspiracy theories.
Chris was holding out a little hope that it actually could be aliens.
Yeah, I was like, maybe. Come on. Give me something good. That's not as spicy. Not as spicy. But, all right. Just a blimp. Kind of a bummer.
It's okay. That just means the aliens are still yet to be found. That means we still have some searching to do.
You're right. So the greatest mysteries are in front of us.
Yes.
I love the way you bent that. The greatest mysteries are still yet to come. Thanks, Mac.
I got you.
Appreciate that. All right, so the border is wide open. Maybe we could send some of those blimps down there to check things out. But there doesn't seem like they want to do anything proactive, like send blimps to the border to help monitor that. But the New York Times has admitted that jobs are harder to find because of mass migration. Weird. Who could have seen this coming? We'll talk about it next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. And in our nation's capital, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer just emerged from that closed-door meeting with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky.
President Zelensky made it so clear how he needs help. But if he gets the help, he can win this war. And he outlined in some great detail, the kind of help he needs and how it will help him win.
But Republicans holding firm, no money for Ukraine without securing the southern border first. And right now in Middle Tennessee, crews say it could be days before everyone's power is restored after Saturday's devastating tornado outbreak. Meanwhile, Channel 4's Carly Gordon says the Better Business Bureau is warning about scams targeting victims.
Well, the BBB says they have already received 5 scam reports, and they're expecting that number to go up later this week as more of those scammers flood into town. And now, here's what you can watch out for. Some storm chasers will try and encourage victims to sign over their insurance checks. That is something a legitimate contractor would not do until the work is done.
Another thing to watch out for, scammers creating fake charitable organizations. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey everybody, I'm Paul Winkler. The financial world can be full of landmines for investors. On the one hand, investment firms and the financial community will often overcomplicate the financial planning process to confuse investors. As one guy who used to work a big investment firm once told me, if an investor thinks that they're over their head, they'll blindly trust you, and it's easier to sell to them. I'm glad I'm away from that. On the other hand, many people oversimplify investing to the detriment of investors. Just having a little knowledge can be really dangerous. The idea there is the same. It's just a different way of selling things. At Paul Winkler Inc., we like working alongside our clients with an education guidance approach. I believe that there's confidence that comes with knowing what you're doing and why. We abide by the very highest level of fiduciary care, and we use the most sophisticated financial planning tools out there. And every one of our offices is run by a degreed planner with over 20 years experience. No kids fresh out of college. If that sounds like a winning formula, Set up a free 15-minute phone call to learn more. Go to paulwinkler.com or call 615-851-1950. You can do this.
Today's show happened because I saw a comment. He said, why don't you do something on doves and dove fields and how to find them and things like that. So
yeah, all right.
Good idea. It's past the opening day, but like you said, it can work.
Yeah.
Because the season is long. It runs for 90 days and there's 3 segments, so we're going to cover all that today. Let's rattle off the season. September 1 through September 28th is the first segment of Dove, and then October 14th through November 5th, and then December 8th through January 15th. 15 is your bag limit. So September 1 is opening day, and that's at noon in Tennessee.
September 1st has been one of those days. I mean, you'll see guys. I mean, they'll take off work. Have big cooking and getting together with friends, and it's kind of neat to see.
Yeah.
Historically, it's a huge social event. I'd say the majority of the hunters probably hunt opening day, opening weekend, and then won't pick up a shotgun until next year. So,
we have 2 other segments besides this one. Running in October, and then even all the way through January 15th. There's a lot of opportunity throughout the year.
On our website, tnwildlife.org, on our homepage, you can click the button there to dove hunting info and fields is what the button's titled. It's got all the information on dove hunting. You can find the fields there. So let's talk about how to find a field. You click on Region 2, it pulls up the options that are available, and get down to Bark Camp Barrens, and you see it's open statewide. So the hunting's not over there. There's still opportunity. Even though we had a big opening day, let it die down a little bit and get back in there. You're going to have some good hunting, I think, there, sounds like, anyway.
.35 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. It's Chris Hand, Mac Morey producing, Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Still a little disappointed that it wasn't Chinese aliens in the balloon, so.
Drat.
Next time, right? We can hold out hope for next time. Something that doesn't have much hope. New York City right now, they don't have much hope when it comes to the illegal immigrant crisis that they're dealing with. Mayor Eric Adams, I mean, he is not happy. He doesn't have much hope at all. In fact, he's saying that New York City, nobody's coming to save them. Poor guy. He's having a tough time. This is the mayor of New York City on the crisis that New York City is currently facing.
We are at an untenable situation right now, and it is painful for us. It is painful for the city, and I think that you see it being reflected in the polls. It is because our federal government actions have taken a toll on the people of this city. We're going to continue to do our job in this administration, but these are extremely challenging times, and as I left Washington, D.C., I did not leave with optimism. I left with the cold reality that help is not on the way in the immediate future. It is going to be, at this moment, it's going to be up to New Yorkers and this administration to continue to navigate this challenge that we're facing.
Yikes. Doesn't sound like he's in a very good mood at all. He said he did not leave Washington, D.C. with optimism.
Washington, D.C. I did not leave with optimism.
Does anybody leave Washington, D.C. with optimism? I feel like that place is like an optimism sucker. Like it's a vacuum for optimism.
Yeah.
Right?
No way. Yeah.
Like a lot of people go to Washington, D.C. like really chipper. Like I'm going to change things. And they leave.
Make it better.
They leave. I mean, granted, they leave with a much higher net worth than they went in, but they leave and they're much less optimistic than they were beforehand. So that doesn't shock me. But he said, New York, we got to deal with it. Nobody's coming to save us. And in fact, the New York Times is even admitting now that mass immigration is making stable jobs with decent pay harder for Americans, especially those in the working class. This is from the New York Times, the failing New York Times. The New York Times is admitting that all of this immigration is making jobs, stable jobs with decent pay, harder to find for Americans. Oh, weird. Who could have predicted that? Did it? Oh, nobody ever said anything like that would happen. How could this happen? An analysis of the Labor Department's latest jobs report, which showed that about little under 200K jobs were created in November. The New York Times suggested President Joe Biden's policy to import as many foreign workers as the business lobby requests hurts Americans looking for high-paying jobs with good benefits. That influx of workers, the Times reports, which includes a recovery in immigration flows, has also taken the air out of wage increases and made it more difficult for people on the margins of the labor market to find stable jobs with decent pay. Weird. Who could have predicted this? How could this have happened? Everybody knew this was going to happen. It's supply and demand. You have more workers coming in, the supply is up, the demand is down, right? Joshua Robinson, 33, said he went to trade school for massage therapy, lives in Erie, PA, but after a couple of occupational injuries, including a herniated disc in his lower back from working at a trampoline park, he is unable to do anything very physical. So he looked for a job. He looked for work from July to October. He said he applied for 200 jobs. And what he got was a position as a technician at a compounding pharmacy that pays $16 an hour. A 33-year-old man being paid $16 an hour. How do you raise a family on $16 an hour? How do you start a family on $16 an hour? How do you pay for rent in this economy on $16 an hour? I watched a video of an apartment in New York City. The rent, this apartment, man, it's like 200 square feet. This apartment was so small. You walk in, and it was smaller than our studios. An apartment with a kitchen. It was so small that I looked at my wife. I said, why do they have two sinks? Why don't they just put the sink next to the bathroom so that way you can save room instead of having two sinks? Because it's mind-blowing for me how small these apartments are. The rent on the apartment was $2,300 a month. $2,300 a month. It's working.
That's crazy.
How does this happen? I mean, I consider myself blessed, man. Like we got our house in Murfreesboro at the right time, but I mean, I can look at rent prices in Murfreesboro. It's not just New York City. I'll look at rent prices in Murfreesboro just to kind of get an idea of what's going on. A 2-bedroom apartment in Murfreesboro is more than a lot of people's mortgages if you bought your home before, before Joe Biden took office. You know? If you bought your house during the Trump administration, you could be paying less for a 3,000 square foot house than you could for a 2-bedroom apartment in Joe Biden's economy. So I'm not shocked that it's harder for Americans to find these decent and stable jobs because of mass immigration. I'm not shocked at all. I am shocked that the New York Times is admitting it. And the admission was noted by Orrin Cass, the nationalist populist who heads American Compass, days before the analysis. He was interviewed by the Times. In the interview, he mentioned that Republicans ought to embrace pro-labor policies such as cutting overall legal immigration levels, fierce enforcement of federal immigration law, and eliminating visa programs that import low-wage foreign workers to compete with and against Americans. I'm for that. In fact, I'm of the opinion that until we get the southern border and illegal immigration under control, we should put a pause on immigration, period. Like, why should we be, rushing for legal immigration when our southern border is wide open? And I know people are coming the right way, but can we put a pause on everything for a year? Just a year. Pause all legal immigration for a year until we get our southern border under control. That way we can just divert everything to the southern border and the northern border for that matter, because that's an underrated issue as well. Because they look at the southern border, illegal aliens, and they know that Joe Biden is basically welcoming them in. They know that 5,000 illegal aliens are being released into the interior of the country a day. Border Patrol agents are on record saying illegal aliens are taking full advantage of Biden's catch and release network at the border. Yeah, I don't need to be a Border Patrol agent to know that. I mean, we played a clip the other day of an illegal alien down at the border saying, "I love you, Joe Biden. I love you." This isn't shocking, but it is kind of wild that it doesn't get the attention it deserves. And you hear politicians, you hear Chris Murphy from Connecticut saying, "I can't believe that they're tying the southern border to Ukraine funding. And oh, what an issue this is for national security." It's like the biggest issue for national security is the southern border. It's the southern border. And illegal aliens are arriving at the United States-Mexico border, taking full advantage of Joe's catch and release network. In an interview conducted by our very own Rep. Mark Green, who's the House and Homeland Security member of the House and Homeland Security Committee, he was conducting interviews from May through September, and he had 8 Border Patrol agents detail the extent to which Biden's catch and release network has turned the southern border into a mere checkpoint for illegal aliens to stop at before heading into the United States interior. Chief Patrol Agent Jason Owens of the Del Rio sector in Texas told that committee that more illegals are turning themselves in to Border Patrol than ever before because they believe, and they're right, that they're going to be processed and given notice to appear so that they can await their immigration hearing in the United States. And since Biden took office, more than 1.2 million border crossers have been released into the United States interior on notices to appear. And these people don't show up to their court dates. They get a piece of paper and then they're off. They're out. And this doesn't include the other million who have been released on parole and through other means. This doesn't include the known gotaways. This doesn't include the people that got away and we don't know. It's unsustainable. William in Murfreesboro, you have a comment on jobs in Biden's America. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, William?
Hey, man. So I was just listening to y'all's last segment about the 33-year-old guy with the trampoline park and all that.
Yep.
Kind of actually in the same boat, and I'm kind of irritated with it. So I'm actually 33 as well in about 3 weeks. And it just seems like ever since he got in office, everybody wants to complain that nobody wants to work. But then they won't hire you if you've got the smallest little thing on your background. But then again, you got all these immigrants coming over that could potentially have, messed up backgrounds, but they're hiring them because they're cheaper and they don't require all the benefits.
Yeah. It's crazy. It just seems like we're really putting American citizens at a disadvantage.
They really are. And, you got all these left-wing, well, I'll censor that for the radio,
Thank you for that.
just think that this is okay. And it's not. I mean, I don't know where to go from here, I got child support, doctor's office visits, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I can't afford nothing. And rent around here in Murfreesboro is like $2,200 a month.
Oh, I've seen the rent prices in Murfreesboro. It's insane. Like how can you afford that? I've talked before. It's like when I was coming up in radio in the early 2000s. It's like I was making like $30,000 a year, but my apartment was like $800 a month, and I split that with a friend. Those apartments are like $2,400, $2,500 now. How do you do
absolutely.
that? How do you do that?
Exactly, and like right now I'm doing third-party contractor. I'm 1099, and we just don't have any work right now. I literally made $600 the whole month of November.
Ugh.
I'm like, how are you supposed to live on that?
Dude, it breaks my heart to hear that. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that, man. And I'll pray and hope things get better for you, bud. I wish I had a better answer for you, but it seems like in this economy, there's less and less answers for these kind of issues.
Oh, absolutely. I think we got to bring Trump back.
Amen to that. I appreciate your call, William. Good luck with everything, bud. It's unsustainable, and one of the issues is the wide open border, and that is sucking up tax dollars to the tune of what, around $450 billion a year. It's unreal. In San Diego, California, in their sector of the border, Chief Patrol Agent Aaron Heike told the Homeland Security Committee, the House and Homeland Security Committee, that right now the majority of illegal aliens encountered are released into the U.S. The majority. That's a majority. They say perhaps the most astonishing is that Border Patrol agents are often well aware that many of the illegal aliens they are being forced to release into the U.S. interior do not have valid claims for asylum to stay in the country. No valid claims. And that doesn't even touch on the fact that we're seeing terror watch list suspects coming across our border. So, like, not only is it draining tax dollars when we're $33 trillion in debt, but it's quite literally putting Americans in danger.
As you look down the hill from our drone and you see that next group, this is what's been happening now for the last several hours. And a concerning stat that we got from Bill Malusian's reporting at the end of last week was that 30 individuals have hit the terror screening database since October 1st when the fiscal year began. We can bring in split screen, if you will, this shot in Lukeville. That's 1,000 miles to my west, another epicenter of the folks coming there. They're getting people over the weekend from Bangladesh, from Egypt, from China, from Senegal. I just met a man in this group right here that is from Angola. He told me from Africa. He's from Angola. He spent 5 months traveling. He spent thousands of dollars to fly to Brazil, then made the dangerous trek through the Darien Gap between Colombia and Panama, went through Central America, Mexico, and now he's here today. Who knows? Maybe he'll be released. It's a concerning issue.
It is a concerning issue, and I would reckon that I would imagine he is going to be released. It's a concerning issue. 30 individuals from the terror watch list since October 1st. How many individuals from the terror watch list have snuck through and not been caught? I mean, I showed Mac the video a couple weeks back of the carpet shoes. These guys are so sophisticated at the border. They're not even leaving tracks. They're not leaving footprints. The networks that they have to get through the border are so sophisticated, planned out. I mean, it's not like they're guessing how to come through. They know exactly how to come through. They know when to come through. It's insane. It's unsustainable. And they're calling us as conservatives a danger to our national security because we're trying to tie border security to Ukraine funding. I think that this is crazy. Unsustainable is the nicest way I can put it. It is 10:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hang out with us. The Chris Hand Show on Super Talk.
Big meeting with Ukraine's president is over. Republicans not wavering on their demands. And Tennessee tornado recovery continues. Thieves have descended on Middle Tennessee to target victims. These stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 1057. I'm Chris Hand. Hey, we just had a caller a moment ago, William, and he was, talking about how it's tough out here with work and stuff like that. William, if you're still listening, shoot me a text on the Super Text line, 615-737-9986. I got a couple phone numbers for you that I wanted to share with you. We'll talk more offline. But, William, if you're still listening, 615-737-9986. Just text me. Say, hey, it's William. And I'll send you a couple numbers from a couple other Super Texters who are – this is what I love about this station, man. It's like, you share your story, you kind of put yourself out there, and it's like people respond.
For sure.
And they step up. They're like, yo, what's his number? I got a couple ideas. So, William, if you're listening, text us, 615-737-9986. Also, speaking of people that want to step up and help, Johnny is on the line, and he has some info on tornado relief. What's up, Johnny?
Hey.
Hey, Johnny, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. We are located at the Hillcrest Church of Christ in Springfield, Tennessee, at 3726 Old Greenbrier Pike, and we are handing out food, hygiene items, cleaning items, and items to clean your yard with if there's a lot of rubble in it from the tornado. And we will be giving these items out from about 10:30 today, which is already passed, until about 5. So if there's anybody who needs any assistance in direct relationship to the tornado that came through the Springfield area, we are here to help them with food and cleaning items and things of that nature. So please do send them our way.
Okay, cool. What was the location one more time, Johnny?
3726 Old Greenbrier Pike, Springfield, Tennessee.
All right, appreciate you, man. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for what you guys are doing over there. It's tough when we see tragedy, but it is cool to see people step up and help, and I love that. But also, I do want to mention our friend Tim Jones, Sumner County Commissioner, sent us this. Sumner County Disaster Relief Community Cleanup Day is happening on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. 300 Indian Lake Boulevard. Volunteers are asking to check in at 8 a.m. So if you want to go help those guys in Sumner County, you can check in 8 a.m., 300 Indian Lake Boulevard on Saturday, December 16th. So tons of ways to help. If you need any more info on either of those, shoot us a text, 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we've got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in our nation's capital, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has emerged from today's closed-door meeting with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, hoping to win continued U.S. financial support in the war against Russia.
He made it clear, and we all made it clear, that if we lose, Putin wins. And this will be very, very dangerous for the United States. So we cannot let Putin influence through any surrogate what we need to do for Ukraine.
Republicans holding steady. There will be no more money for Ukraine without a secure southern U.S. border. And Republicans not wavering when it comes to the impeachment inquiry of President Biden. Here's House Speaker Mike Johnson.
People have feelings about it one way or the other. We can't prejudge the outcome. The Constitution does not permit us to do so. We have to follow the truth where it takes us, and that is exactly what we're going to do.
House could vote tomorrow to formalize the inquiry into Biden family finances and whether Joe Biden used his influence when he was vice president to benefit from his son Hunter's foreign business dealings. Right now in Tennessee, crews say it could be days before everyone's power's restored from Saturday's tornado outbreak. Channel 4's Carly Gordon says the Better Business Bureau's warning scammers are posing as contractors to try to get people to sign over insurance checks before any repairs are done. That's just one kind of scammer.
Then there are those looking to take advantage of people with giving hearts. The scammers will create fake charitable organizations, but they sound like the real deal. So they'll call themselves the United Way of Montgomery County, or instead of the American Red Cross, they'll call themselves the Red Cross of the United States.
Better Business Bureau says they've already logged 5 complaints about scammers in Middle Tennessee since Sunday. November was another month of relatively tame inflation, with consumer prices rising 0.1% from October. Over the past year, the unadjusted all items index rose 3.1%. Gasoline prices significantly lower in November, but that big decline was offset by the rising cost of housing. Economists hope a second consecutive soft inflation report convinces the Fed to leave interest rates where they are. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Today's show happened because I saw a comment. He said, why don't you do something on doves and dove fields and how to find them and things like that. So
yeah, all right.
Good idea. It's past opening day, but like you said, it can work.
Yeah.
Because the season is long. It runs for 90 days and there's 3 segments, so we're going to cover all that today. Let's rattle off the season. September 1 through September 28th is the first segment of Dove, and then October 14th through November 5th, and then December 8th through January 15th. 15 is your bag limit. So September 1 is opening day, and that's at noon in Tennessee.
September 1st has been one of those days. I mean, you'll see guys. I mean, they'll take off work. Have big cooking and getting together with friends, and it's kind of neat to see.
Yeah.
Historically, it's a huge social event. I'd say the majority of the hunters probably hunt opening day, opening weekend, and then won't pick up a shotgun until next year. So,
we have 2 other segments besides this one. Running in October, and then even all the way through was that January 15th. There's a lot of opportunity throughout the year.
On our website, tnwildlife.org, on our homepage, you can click the button there to dove hunting info and fields is what the button's titled. It's got all the information on dove hunting. You can find the fields there. So let's talk about how to find a field. You click on Region 2, it pulls up the options that are available, and get down to Bark Camp Barrens, and you see it's open statewide. So the hunting's not over there. There's still opportunity. Even though we had a big opening day, let it die down a little bit and get back in there. You're going to have some good hunting, I think, there, sounds like, anyway.
Now is not the time you want to find out that you have a problem with your heater. It's getting really cold. Hey, it's Chris Hand for Busy Bee HVAC. You want to be proactive and keep your unit in tip-top shape. And if you're finding out now that you have a problem with your heater, you got to call my friends at Busy Bee HVAC. Now, when you're a member of the Beehive Club, whether you need annual maintenance, repair, or replacement heating and air system, you can always trust Busy Bee HVAC, and you're not going to find a better value on replacement systems. They offer up to 12 months, no payment, no interest, with approved credit, and it pays in so many ways to sign up for the annual maintenance they provide on your heating and air system from Busy Bee HVAC. That way, you don't find out when it gets cold that your heater's not working because you have that annual maintenance already lined up. You can get thorough annual maintenance on your heating and air at the beginning of each heating and cooling season for just $99 per year per unit, no overtime charges, 24/7, and 10% off for all repairs. Remember, they have convenient Saturday availability for those maintenance calls, so you will never be left out in the cold. Busy Bee HVAC, your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee HVAC, 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833, or online, busybeehvac.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's Chris Hand. To our friend William that called in earlier, if you're still listening, man, shoot me a text. I got a couple people that want to help you find some work. So shoot me a text, man. It's tough times. It is. And it's a result of this Biden economy. In fact, Biden economic advisor Lael Brainerd admits on CNBC today, housing costs are just unaffordable, and rent is way too high.
I think housing costs are still unaffordable for so many Americans. Rent is still too high. It is coming down, as you said, but it's still very unaffordable for many Americans. And for first-time home buyers, it is still a very challenging picture. So we're working hard on that.
Yeah, they're working hard on it. It's challenging. I couldn't imagine trying to buy your first home right now. How can you do that in this economy? Unreal. Unsustainable. And it's not just housing. It's not just rent. It's grocery prices. It's everyday items that people are having an issue paying for.
I feel like the underlying trend lines in inflation are good. We've seen grocery prices come down. We've seen prices at the pump come down. We've seen some of the core areas moving back down to pre-pandemic levels. I feel like
she's lying. She's lying. Under Joe Biden, food prices are up like 20%. Gas prices still way up. I mean, it's dropped a little bit lately, but if you compare it to when Trump was in office, it's still up around 75 cents a gallon. I mean, all they do in the Democrat Party is lie. And it's unaffordable. It's unaffordable right now in Joe Biden's economy. I mean, seriously. The consumer price index data is at an all-time high. And they'll tell you it's working. They'll tell you they're working on it. They'll tell you that, the American people, they just need to hear the right messaging. That's what we need. We need messaging. That's the issue. The issue isn't Joe Biden's terrible economic policies. The issue is, the Americans aren't hearing the right messaging. We need Trump back. That's what we need. Now, it's looking more and more like we could see that. There's new Iowa polling data out. Trump surpassing 50% support ahead of the first GOP contest. This is from NBC News. Former President Donald Trump expanded his lead over GOP rivals with 5 weeks until the first Republican presidential nominating contest, now earning 51% first-choice support from likely Iowa caucus goers. This is according to the latest NBC News Des Moines Register Mediacom poll. Trump's lead is the largest recorded, so close to a competitive Republican caucus in this Iowa poll's history. And it's fueled, they say, by majorities of evangelical and first-time likely caucus goers, as well as by nearly 3/4 of Republicans who believe Trump can defeat Joe Biden next year despite the legal challenges he's facing. I mean, of course he can, despite the legal challenges. Would you rather have a guy who's facing legal challenges, or would you rather have a guy who's facing mental cognitive challenges? What would you rather have a guy who might be found guilty of something, or a guy who can't walk upstairs? The choice is pretty easy. What's more, in this polling data, it finds that Trump is enjoying more enthusiasm and commitment from his supporters than his rivals do ahead of the January 15th contest in Iowa. They say with all the other candidates, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do, because automatically my vote is going to Trump no matter what. That was a poll respondent, Timothy Blackberry, who is 67 from Iowa. He said, they can promise me $1 million. I'll tell them to keep it, and I would still vote for Trump. Absolutely based Iowa voter. Another Iowa voter, Jay Ann Seltzer, the Iowa pollster who's been conducting this survey over the last 3 decades, said the field may have shrunk, but it may have made Trump even stronger. She says that she would call his lead commanding at this point. Commanding. They say, which of the following Republicans would be your first choice? Trump is way in front. Ron DeSantis is in second in Iowa, and Nikki Haley's in third. And it's still, I wonder, who is voting for Nikki Haley? Who thinks Nikki Haley is the right choice for the job? She complained that Vivek Ramaswamy brought her daughter into the debate, and how could he do that? And it made me laugh because, she actually sat down and did an ABC News interview with her daughter about that. So you can't bring kids into it, but let me bring my daughter into an ABC News interview.
How did you feel when Vivek Ramaswamy brought you into the debate talking about that you were a TikTok user?
I mean, I felt like it was unnecessary. I feel like it's a kind of a people know not to bring kids into a situation, and so I felt like it was kind of uncalled for. But
when they say something about her, and I know she's sitting in that front row, as a mom, I get my back up. But she's been a real support and good energy, and I love that.
Oh, you can't bring kids into it. How could you? How could you bring kids into it? I mean, Nikki Haley's daughter's 25. So, Mike, you know what I mean? It's not like they're making fun of Barron, who was 13 at the time, which they never had any problem doing.
You make fun of me every day.
I make fun of you every day.
Child abuse.
Yeah. That's child abuse. Making fun of Mac is child abuse. I mean, you're the same age as Nikki Haley's daughter.
Yes.
Do you think that's out of line to bring up the fact that Nikki Haley talks this big game on TikTok, but her daughter uses TikTok when her daughter's 25?
You're a full-blown adult, so.
Yeah, like you're a grown-up.
It's fair game.
You pay taxes.
Yeah. Like, come on.
A lot of taxes. Maybe not in Nikki Haley's family, but the average 25-year-old pays a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
So what exactly was uncalled for about that? It blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Weird. And, who supports Nikki Haley? Oh, I know who supports Nikki Haley. Democrat mega donors who visit Epstein Island. That's who supports Nikki Haley. And that's not just like a talking point. Like LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, who's a billionaire mega donor to Joe Biden and the Democrat Party, he's helping fund Nikki Haley's run for president in the GOP primary, and he's doing it solely to stop President Trump. And this guy has admitted to visiting Epstein's private island, Little St. James. He's admitted to it. That's the people that are supporting Nikki Haley. It's not good company to keep. Not good company to keep at all. Speaking of not good company to keep, Joe Biden, he's floundering. He's floundering. So he's enlisted help for his campaign. Do you know who he signed up to have help? Hillary Clinton. He's tapping Hillary Clinton for help. President Joe Biden over the weekend enlisted known election denier Hillary Clinton in his re-election campaign to build infrastructure, raise money, and mobilize voters. They say Biden's eagerness to enlist Clinton signals his desperation to combat his historically low approval rating. Yep. Smells like desperation. It also made more sense because Al Gore was out there talking about how, Biden's the man for the job and orange man bad and all those things. I was like, why is Al Gore? Why is Al Gore, holding water for Joe Biden? Well, now that I saw that he's enlisted Hillary Clinton's help, it kind of makes a little bit more sense, I guess. This is Al Gore on Trump and, the orange man bad.
Well, I saw the other day where he pledged to be a dictator on day one, and you kind of wonder what it'll take for people to believe him when he tells us who he is. And
he didn't claim that he would be a dictator on day one. Like, he said it jokingly in the Hannity town hall where he said, I'll be a dictator on day one. I'm going to close the border and drill. That's it. Yeah, that's him being a dictator. Of course, we knew that the left would use these talking points to their advantage and would manipulate it like they do with anything Donald Trump says, which is kind of funny. But at the same time, your average Democrat isn't going to understand the nuance of it. They're going to be like, see, I knew it. Orange man bad. He wants to be a dictator.
Believe him when he tells us who he is. And, the solution to political despair is political action. And for those in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party and independents who love American democracy and who want to preserve our capacity to govern ourselves and solve our problems, now's the time to get active. There's a mental health crisis around the world, Jake, that we hear people talking about. I think that one of the main reasons for that is that young people look at the fact that we are not yet solving the climate crisis or dealing with some of these other challenges.
Oh, Al Gore says that there's a mental health crisis in this country, and it's because of the fact that we're not solving climate change. Oh, I think there's a mental health crisis as well. I think it's TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and I think these people are suffering from it at a rate we've never seen before. And Al Gore going on saying there's a mental health crisis, and it's because we haven't addressed climate change is a pure example of that. You know, Orange Man bad. We can't have gas-powered engines or gas stoves anymore. We got to do something about this, guys.
And we hear this word thrown around, poly-crisis. Well, solving the climate crisis is a poly-solution. We know what to do. We have the means to do it. And we have to make sure that we make the right political choices in our democracy to enable ourselves to make the right choices.
Well, I agree with him on the end there that we have to make the right choices in our in politics to give us the right, solutions out here. However, we disagree on what the right choices are. However, I think, if Democrats want to lean in on climate change, I think that's a big win for conservatives because is that going to help the average American? Is the average American right now really concerned about climate change when they can't afford rent? Is the average American concerned about climate change when grocery prices are still up 20%? Those prices aren't coming down. They're not. It's not going to get any better. Like, you're looking at it. These manufacturers aren't going to decide to lower the prices. I mean, the price of everything is up. Al Gore wants to focus on climate change. Solid strategy, Al. Solid. Joe Biden. I mean, he's got enough problems. Another guy with, it seems like, has some issues. Not politically speaking, although I don't think he'll win the presidency or is really a threat to Donald Trump. But Vivek Ramaswamy, there was a video going around of a former intelligence agent telling Vivek, you got to be careful out there. People are after you. You're saying things that are, you're getting too close to the third rail. And apparently this guy was pretty spot on. Apparently a man was arrested after threatening to kill Vivek Ramaswamy at a New Hampshire event. Weird. They said this is from the Post-Millennial. A man from Dover, New Hampshire, was arrested after sending a text threatening to kill Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy at a Monday morning campaign event in nearby Portsmouth. Tyler Anderson, 30, was subsequently charged with transmitting in interstate commerce a threat to injure a person of another and taken into custody. According to the Department of Justice, Anderson received a text message from Ramaswamy's campaign on December 8th notifying him of the event in Portsmouth. And he said, great, another opportunity for me to blow his brains out, he replied, adding that he was going to kill everyone who attends and then blank their corpses. It's nice. The Democrat voters, baby. These are the same people who are like, I can't believe we'd let Alex Jones on Twitter. Another opportunity for me to blow his brains out. Nice. This guy is scheduled to appear in federal court on Monday afternoon. If found guilty, he could face up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a $250,000 fine. Well, it's nice. Democrats, man. Solid bunch of folks, right? Solid bunch of folks. Yeah. Al Gore. The mental health crisis is rampant in this country. It's TDS. Trump derangement syndrome. 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Got some crashes getting in the way. Lebanon Pike east of Fessler's Lane in Hermitage. Then in Sumner County, stop-and-go traffic. Vietnam Veterans Boulevard westbound between Hendersonville, Saundersville Road, exit 8, and Indian Lake Boulevard, exit 7. Impeachment inquiry vote is looming, and Ukraine president on Capitol Hill. These stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Text line, phone lines open, 615-737-9986. I got a text here from 2809. Said, Al Gore, a.k.a. Man Bear Pig. Do you remember Man Bear Pig, Max?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I do.
Does that take you back?
That's nostalgia.
Man Bear Pig. Realer than birds. All right. It's Super Talk 99.7. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Listen, there's a story here I got that I thought was fascinating. Let me find it. New York. Oh, New York. You know, they always come up with solutions to problems. And this reminds me of do you remember when we talked about in London the ultra low emission zones? Where they're taxing older cars that come into London, because climate change. It got me thinking about it because of Al Gore. Well, New York is adopting a similar plan. However, it's not just for older cars. They're just doing it for all cars. They've instituted this new tax system. They put cameras all over the city, and they're touting this as some big success. Earlier this week, the Metro Transportation Authority, the state agency that runs rail and bus service in New York, gave initial approval to change a toll schedule that's going to charge the average driver $15 to enter Lower Manhattan during peak times, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. on weekdays, and 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on weekends. $15 just for driving into the city.
Jeez.
You're not going to have a chance to opt out. They're also going to be charging trucks, buses, and vans $24 a day for the same privilege. Just for rolling into the city. Just for showing up. And while larger trucks like vehicles and multi-unit trucks and sightseeing buses, they're going to be paying $36 per day. Vehicles without an easy pass will pay higher rates, ranging from $22.50 for passenger cars to $54 for larger trucks. Is this not the biggest scam in New York City? You can't opt out of the Easy Pass. You only get charged more. There's no opportunity to pay cash, and the taxing is just so restrictive. And who is this going to hurt? Who's this going to hurt most? Lower income people. Do you think that the social justice warriors will be up in arms and protest this?
Why is it going to hurt the lower income people more?
They don't have money.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be the ones driving, would they?
Well, if you're driving into the city, it's going to...
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess I'm just picturing the low-income people taking the bus and subways, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But, I mean, dude, just charging people $24 a day.
That's...
If you're driving a truck, bus, or van. So if you're driving into work, if you have to if you're working and you're driving a truck into the city to do, plumbing, electric work, $24 a day.
Jeez.
Like middle-class, hardworking Americans. Will there be any protests about this? No. They're saying they're doing this, because they want to alleviate congestion. Say New York's long road to congestion pricing started back in 2019 when the New York legislature approved a plan to toll drivers entering Lower Manhattan as part of that year's budget agreement. The intent of the new tolls was to raise money for the city's cash-strapped subway system and reduce rush hour gridlock. London, Singapore, Stockholm have all done this in their city centers. I don't think this is a good idea, and I think it's a test that they're going to do for big cities all over the country. If you want to commute, you want to go see a doctor, grab dinner in New York City, you could be paying, $40 to go over the George Washington Bridge in 2024, in addition to gas and parking. Like, this is crazy. And New York City Mayor Eric Adams, he's raised concerns about this a little bit, but what are they doing about it? It's crazy. It just seems like the average New Yorker Why would you stay? What reason do you have to stay in New York City at this point in time? Is there anything keeping you there? It's so expensive to live in New York, and now they're taxing you just for showing up. Gotta love it. 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here's Ken Weaver.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the Republicans have no choice but to vote to formalize an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
The impeachment inquiry is necessary now, as Whip Emmer just explained, because we've come to this impasse where following the facts where they lead is hitting a stone wall.
The vote tomorrow to formalize the process would give Republicans more tools to investigate the alleged role of Joe Biden and his son Hunter's foreign business deals. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says the meeting with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky this morning made it clear Zelensky needs continued help from the U.S. to fight Russia.
If we don't give the aid quickly, several things will happen. First, the military needs, but second, Europe and many other allies will say, what is going on here? They're not giving them the aid.
Republicans still demand a secure southern U.S. border before another penny goes to Ukraine. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.